If you've never heard of La Biennale, well, neither had I. Going into this assignment, here's what I did know. I'd have 6 days in Venice, my camera, and I'd be diving into the largest contemporary art event in the world with a class from Wake. I'm gonna let this video play out kind of the way I experienced the trip, because for me, the combination of being in a new city and not quite knowing what each day would look like made any sort of planning a real challenge. So I figured the best, and really the only way to go about making this video, was to hit record and brace myself for whatever the upcoming program had in store. My name is Sean Wilkinson. I'm a 2015 studio art grad turned videographer, and this is what my week in Venice looked like.
Okay, so number 1, Square of San Gervaso, adjacent to the square next to the Church of San Gervaso. This is our first full day in Venice, and right now we're just walking around, getting a feel for the city, exploring a little bit.
So right away, I met up with some students and tagged along as they visited historic sites. It was the first step in slowly learning our way around Venice.
No matter how many times you travel down these alleyways, you can still go down a new one each night and get lost again.
So we lived here, right? Stop number 1 is here.
The history of it is that it was sort of this trading post between the East and the West, so there's all these cultures and all this history all mashed up. It's just one of the most incredible cities.
When we got to Venice, obviously you're so tired. You have to take the Vaporetto into the city. It's amazing arriving to a Wake Forest property.
15 students and lots of faculty and alumni would call Casa Artem home for the week. And with the Guggenheim on the left, the Grand Canal right off the back porch, staying there felt like living in the heart of the city.
You wake up every morning, you make your coffee in the kitchen.
You hear the gondoliers singing.
You can hear the gondoliers singing.
It feels less like we're a visitor and more like we're actually getting a real experience here.
Each day was packed. The class, taught by Paige Laughlin, primarily took a focus on the Biennale, a global art exhibition dating back to 1895. Every 2 years, art enthusiasts gather in Venice to view the most current contemporary art. And this year, we'd be seeing works from 85 different countries. Despite the excitement surrounding the event, we'd be getting to it a little later, once it opened to the public. In the meantime, there were talks, seminars, this one given by an art history professor who used to teach at Wake. Downtime to perform of cooking, lots of cooking, and discussing artwork in anticipation of the opening. And then beyond their studies, the students had a chance to see the professional side of the art world through alumni.
Earlier this morning, I met with the students here at the Casa Artem, and we did a little seminar session, really just an informal discussion about the Venice Biennale, who's here, why they're here, the roles that everybody is playing while they're here. I mean, you're pretty busy during the Venice Biennale, but it's still worthwhile to take a couple of hours and meet with students.
Mary Lee Cherry had a huge hand in planning the program with Paige. She owns Cherry and Martin Gallery in LA, and so aside from being at the Biennale as a part of the program, she was also here for business, with a number of contacts and colleagues to meet. At that point in the trip, I was confirming permissions to film inside the event, and she had early media access. So I went with her to get everything sorted out.
All right, welcome to the Biennale.
I ended up getting a behind-the-scenes preview of what the students could expect when they'd visit during the general opening.
I wanted to be able to provide them direct meetings with artists and curators of this year's Biennale, and I happen to have a lot of colleagues this year, so it worked perfectly. When I asked for appointments, it was kind of like, oh, okay, sure, but as soon as I started saying it's a group of Wake Forest University students, they're doing a course on the Biennale, all of a sudden it was like, we'll see what we can do.
What do you got cooking?
That's when I want to bring those students by to meet you.
Oh, right, you mentioned that. That's
Okay,
the 13th, right?
It's
Yeah,
the 13th.
oh yeah,
It's the
of course
first,
I'll be here, yeah.
public day and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And then
Yeah.
Sean's gonna film.
Awesome. Grace period of like 15 minutes.
Don't worry,
give
don't
or
worry.
take. You know
Don't
what I
worry.
mean? Thanks.
Yeah, it'll
It should be
work
good
out.
though.
It was bold and brilliant, unlike anything I've seen before.
Taking the course on the Biennale has been a crash course on so many different parts of the art world.
We studied the artists, the curators, and the history of the pavilions. So when we got here, we hit the ground running.
In some ways, it's like an international showcase.
So many different people participate, and it gives them a stage and a voice to present what issues they find important.
You do realize how international, global the art world really is, and especially the contemporary art world. It's exploded.
So one of the interesting challenges as a teacher in this class, and it's been one of the things I've enjoyed in some ways the most, is how do you take a cross-section of students, because it really is a cross-section of Wake students, they're not at all art students, introduce them to this major global phenomena, give them a grounding, then to come on site and essentially apply it. It has been one of the most rewarding teaching experiences of my 30 years of teaching.
Contemporary art is very contentious as far as everyone can assess it in a different way. Some things may not even seem like art to one person and be a phenomenal piece to another.
Anytime I feel like, oh, you know, I've kind of got a hold on contemporary art, like I think I get it now, I walk into a different pavilion and it's like, oh wow, I never thought about it that way.
Suddenly, like in this one area, you have the most present issues of our lifetime presented in a visual way where people can walk around and really engage in it.
While most of the event was housed in two main areas, there were other exhibits scattered throughout the city for those willing to look. And the students not only had the opportunity to view the art, they could volunteer to experience it as part of an installation or a performance.
You know, we come here and we read all these reviews from critics, but it's nice to be able to come here and form our own opinions and to really interact with the art, which has been a lot of fun and really unique because we haven't had that experience at Wake.
It makes it hit home. It makes you feel that you're really a part of the world and not just secluded in your studies by yourself.
The class had another week to continue exploring the Biennale. They'd work on documenting their interpretations of the art they had just seen as a bookend to their studies. For me, my time was up. Just like that, it was my last day at the Biennale, at Casa Artem, and in Venice. I'd spent the week running around, trying to keep up with the program and all the moments in between. Honestly, it's hard to process everything. For not knowing what to expect, it was more than I could have expected. I was blown away by the scale and the ambition of the art. But since I found what I appreciate most was the access that we had during that week. Walking around in that space in the city, interacting with the art, and hearing from the artists and the curators themselves, it made one of the biggest stages in the contemporary art world approachable. I was not prepared for that kind of an experience, but I'm happy I had the chance to capture it. So thanks for watching with me, and ciao.